Hey, hello, my name is Selena.
And my name's Theoni, and you are listening to Piping Hot.
Hello, everyone, and happy whatever day. Well, just kidding. It's Happy Wednesday.
What the heck?
I was like, oh, whatever day they're
Selena,
listening
it's
on.
Thursday.
I know, but this episode will be on a Wednesday.
Oh my God.
Happy Wednesday or happy Thursday. It's a happy Thursday for us, but if you're listening to this, it's a happy Wednesday.
Whatever day you're listening to this, I hope you're having a happy day. Okay? Oh my God.
That really backfired.
That
That really
really did.
backfired.
Oh, good Lord. But I appreciate you trying to spice up the intros.
Thank you.
You really are, and I respect it.
It's also just been like a really long week.
Oh my gosh, it's been so long for no reason at all.
No, really.
Like my supervisor and I, just today only, I got a case right away in the morning, and it was one that's over Doxy, which is like over like a Zoom-like platform.
Yeah.
And the client just like never called me back, and so like I was calling them like for hours and hours, but they weren't picking up, so like that was a challenge, and like I hope they're okay and everything.
Yeah.
But then I didn't end up having to do that, but then I went on the other case, and I told you about that already. I really shouldn't talk about them like on a podcast, but like it was just crazy, and like the rest of my week I just feel like there was so many logistical things that for no one's fault, but it was just crazy. And I was like, what's happening? And the other day, sorry, now I'm going off. Let me tell you about my freaking week.
You do it. Yeah.
I also put together my entire new sectional house by myself, my sectional couch by myself. And let me tell you, it was like 90 degrees outside. I was literally dying, but it was cooler on Wednesday than it would have been the rest of the days of the week. So I was like, I'm just going to get it done. But did I want to cry? Yes. My arms literally sore, and maybe that just speaks to like my small amount of muscle, but I was dying. So anyways, it's been a chaotic week. How is yours?
Yeah. Wow. Wait. So how has moving in been?
It's been good. I mean,
Okay.
It's starting to come together a little bit. Like I have the sectional and the rug in the living room, and it looks really cute. So I'm excited about that. I started putting some of like my winter stuff away in my closet. So like it's been nice to get that put away. And so I'm trying to just bring like a couple boxes every day. So like I brought a box of my books. Like I think I told you, my parents are coming in a couple weekends to help me move like the big stuff. So, but it's been going good so far. Oh, well, hey, so my parents are coming not this weekend, but next weekend. Or I guess it will be this weekend by the time the episodes comes out.
Yeah.
But my parents are coming, and they're going to, like, help me move all the big stuff, which is nice. So,
oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
That's going to be super fun.
At first, they weren't going to come, but then I think my mom just really likes to come and help, like, my sister and I out, and they've never been there or, like, not been there before for a move. So my mom was like, we're going to come. So I'm hoping I can get a lot of it done before they come, so then I can like maximize like our fun time together, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. Nice. Again, I'm just like, it's the smartest move to like have your leases overlapping, because like you can just do it whenever you want, you know?
Literally. It has made the world of difference, and I'm never not going to do this now, honestly.
Yeah.
As long as I can afford it, because 2 months rent is like a lot to pay at once, but like, you know, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My week has been fine. It's been busy like yours too. I've just been trying to wrap up work. Tomorrow's my last day at work, and by the time that this episode comes out, I will be on vacation because I freaking deserve it.
Yes, you do deserve it.
Yeah. So it's been good though. But I was going to tell you on Monday, Archie got attacked at the dog park. And
how dare that other dog? What happened?
So
literally, who's my enemy? Let me know.
So we were playing fetch, and whenever he plays fetch. Sometimes he'll take the ball and he'll run a different direction into the shade because it is very hot. And so I definitely understand why he wants to like just rest for a little bit. So that's what he did. He grabbed the ball and then went the other direction to go in the shade, right? And in the shaded area, there was a water bowl and there was a dog and its owner there. And mind you, the dog park was pretty empty. Like, we went pretty late at night, like 7:38, so it could be cooler for the dogs to run around. And I didn't think of anything of it because I was like, there's one dog and one owner. Like, that's it. So Archie goes up, drops the ball, sniffs the water, sniffs the dog, and then goes back to the water bowl. But that's because the dog was standing right next to the water bowl. But before he could go back to the water bowl, the dog attacked him. And this dog was like 40, 50 pounds. And Archie's like 20.
Oh my gosh. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. But a little bit of his ear was like nicked off, so he was bleeding, and we like left immediately, but thankfully he had a vet appointment yesterday, so we just like combined whatever we needed done yesterday with a physical exam to be like, hey, this happened, can you just check him out again? But overall he's good. It was just like so scary because it happened
how
so
did you
fast.
I can't imagine, like, how did you intervene in something like that?
The thing is that I literally couldn't because they were moving so fast. And like around in a circle that like me and the other owner was trying to like grab them. And unfortunately, Jack was like all the way across the park because he was playing fetch with Archie and he was just taking his time, like trying to catch up to us because he thought Archie was just going to take a drink of water and not be freaking attacked. And so I was there with the other owner, and thankfully the other owner freaking grabbed his dog. Thankfully his dog had a harness, so he could grab him by like the harness of his back. But they moved so quickly that I like literally could not grab Archie.
That is so scary because then you're just watching this unfold in front of your eyes and you're like, Archie's literally bleeding and I can't do anything about it right now. Like, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it was.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was so scary. And it was, just, again, so fast. It like happened so fast and then it was over so fast. But it was like, whew. But no, he's all good. It was just very scary.
Well, I'm glad that he's like okay and like nothing worse happened. I mean, not that that's not scary on its own, but like especially with a dog that's so much bigger than him. Like, I feel like you never know what kind of damage they could do just because of body size alone, you know? So
no, definitely. And like, I'm a part of a bunch of like dog groups on like Facebook and stuff. And so I was like looking because I was like, well, what do you even do? Because we've never met this like situation. We've never been attacked by like another dog at the dog park. So we were like, what do we even do? And I was like reading different posts and they're like, like my dog had to get stitches and my dog's leg got broken because of this dog attack. I was like, okay. Like, it was still scary what happened to Archie, but it definitely could have been worse.
And then I'm sure reading that stuff too, I would be like, oh my gosh, now I'm afraid of all these other things that could happen in the future, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God, wait, it's so funny though too, because literally after this incident, I went on Zillow to look at houses.
Did you really?
Because I was like, you know what? We should just buy a house with a huge yard. And like, it just, like, this wouldn't be a problem anymore.
All right. Well, what are you drinking today? Not to change the subject from poor little Archie, but
I know.
Remember when you called him my enemy the other day? Or what did you say about him?
I don't know what I said. I remember you had wished him a happy birthday because it was his 6th birthday on Sunday. And I was like, oh, I told Archie and he told you to fuck off.
Yeah, that's what it is. Selena's dog hates me most of the time. On occasion, he'll be randomly so nice to me, and I'm like, I don't know what is happening. It's so weird. Yeah. But anyways, what are you drinking?
Today, I am drinking positive energy tea because it's just been a day. I went into the office today, which was fine, but I had an early morning meeting, so I had to get there a lot earlier than I had to. And I took an Uber there, and the Uber driver was being such a bitch that, like, I was just like, I just need to chill and just have all the positive vibes, like, you know.
Yeah.
What about you?
I get you, girl. Yeah, I'm drinking pink chai, but I'm drinking it like an iced version, which I don't love for this particular kind of tea. But it's just like way too hot here to have hot tea, you know? So, but it is refreshing and just very light, which I like because I feel like heavy food in like heat just does not sit well sometimes.
No, it does not.
I don't have a lot of pop culture stuff today, but I am curious to hear what you have, unless you don't have anything.
One thing, Theoni. I have one frickin' thing.
All right, well, I can't wait to be blown away. Let it out, girl. Let's hear it.
Okay, my one thing is that
if we
Chrissy
have the
Teigen and John Legend are pregnant.
I'm so excited for them because, I think one of my friends mentioned this in our group chat. I forget the whole story, but didn't she have like a miscarriage and like a really hard time getting pregnant or something?
She had multiple miscarriages when she was trying to get pregnant with her second and third, I think. So finally, she got pregnant with her third. Everything went well. She gave birth to her third, and then unfortunately, he had died.
That's what it was. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Which is,
anyways,
so traumatic. Like, I can't even imagine.
No, I literally cannot even fathom. I feel like I like try to understand it, but I don't think you can until you're a parent. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. What's worse is that her mind could like know that the baby had passed, but her body wouldn't know because it's probably still producing milk and you're probably still trying to heal. Like, I can't even imagine the difficulty of like trying to tell yourself that, okay, this has happened, but then your body is like telling you something different.
No, literally, like, that would mess with your mind. And I'm sure now, going into this pregnancy, the amount of fear and the amount of, like, whatever that she's dealing with right now, like, I truly can't understand it. So I just pray that, like, everything turns out well for her and, like, they don't have to deal with any more heartbreak because I think that they have dealt with more than their fair share at this point when it comes to their children. So
no, I agree. Yeah. That's my one thing. Were you blown away, Theoni?
I was so blown away that I can't even think right now. Oh, wow. Okay. Was that convincing?
Very, very convincing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the only thing that I have to say, so Beyonce's new album came out. I haven't listened to it, but there's been a couple of like lawsuits with it. So, or not lawsuits, just people coming out with things that she has ended up changing for the album. So the first one, apparently there was an ableist lyric that she ended up changing. And then also the Kellis, who is like the artist behind the song Milkshake, apparently there was some sort of like background vocal or lyric or something that was similar that Beyonce didn't credit her for or something. So then Beyonce just ended up changing that on her album. So it's just interesting that two different things came out. And it's interesting because something similar just happened to Lizzo, like we've talked about on the podcast. But
yes. I'm not surprised by that, though. I feel like, unfortunately, that's such a common thing now that happens, which I'm a little conflicted about because I'm like, okay, I definitely understand. You know, we're going to give credit where credit is due, like 100%. But other times I'm like, are you just saying that to like say something or create drama during this time? Like, I can't tell the line because you know what another thing that was like kind of crazy is the whole Olivia Rodrigo thing with Paramore. And how, what was it? Was it Brutal?
For Misery Business.
Yes.
And Good For You, I think.
Yes, Good For You. Sorry, that one. And I was like, what? I don't know. I'm in the field where it's like, it does sound the same, but it's not the same, because you could also take Olivia Rodrigo's bridges, all of her bridges in every single song on Sour, and be like, that was inspired by Taylor Swift, because it was.
Yes.
She's a huge Swiftie.
But that's what I mean. And I think that people try to sue for like that kind of thing in music way too often these days. Yeah. And I just think it takes away the joy from creating music. There's no way to create music sometimes without it kind of sounding like something else or reminding someone of something else. Like, and so many times I feel like it happens subconsciously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
No, definitely. Like, at this point, nothing is original. And that's just the way that literally. It is. Yeah.
No, literally. Anyways, but that's like my one pop culture thing. Otherwise, I just wanted to give a brief update on like the books I have read. Okay. I'm going to be honest. After House of Sky and Breath, I had such a huge book hangover. I tried starting to read a book and I just physically couldn't, because I kept thinking about the book and the conspiracy theories and what was coming next. Like, I just could not stop thinking about it. Like, it literally infiltrated my freaking dreams, dude. But eventually I read 24 Hours in Paris by Romy Mundi. And that was freaking dumb because it was a cute story and all, but I didn't get the happily ever after I wanted. And it was happy, but it was realistic. And I didn't ask to read a realistic book. When I read a romance book, I ask to be in, I don't care if distances keep me apart. I don't care. Make it freaking work. This isn't a romance. This is a romance book. This is not nonfiction. I didn't ask for this, first of all, but it was a very beautifully written book and I actually really enjoyed it, but it was also freaking dumb. And then also within the past 24 hours, Selena asked me to read this one book and I finished it. And that book is called The Bodyguard. And let me just say, I am a simp for the main character of this book. His name is Jack, and oh my lord, that man, woof to Martha. And he is not the bodyguard. The girl is the bodyguard, which I love.
Okay, one thing, the 24 Hours in Paris novel, I definitely agree that, like, I love a realistic story, but with a good ending, because I'm reading a book to give me a happy ending, which reminded me of, like, Book Lovers, where it's, like, realistic, but then there's, like, the ending that's, like, perfect for, like, books. You know, like, what you read for? And then The Bodyguard. I called that you would finish it within an afternoon, and you finished it within like a morning.
Literally. No, I did. And the thing is, though, I wish we had gotten like a spicy scene. You know what I mean?
Okay, I wasn't going to tell you that because the only thing I was going to tell you was that it was cute. Like, that's all I was going to tell you. But I was so tempted to tell you that it's not spicy. But I was like, wait, no, I don't want to spoil anything for you and whatever. So I didn't tell you. But I agree that I was a little disappointed because I really want to see the main love interest in bed.
Me? No, me too. And let me just tell you the thing, okay? It was one of those books where it wasn't such a well-written, fantastic book that I'm like, this didn't need it. You know what I mean? And it didn't need it, but it's one of those where I'm like, I'm reading this for like a good story, but also the smut. And then it didn't have the smut. So it was like a cute story, but it would have been so easy to slip one in for us. It really would have.
It literally would have been so easy. And I know what scene you're thinking about. They could have just slipped that scene in, but nope, whatever. But I also texted you this as well, but just the way that the author, her name is Catherine Center, the way that she writes it, it's like, you're the main character, which is so weird. It took me kind of a while to get into the like writing tense that she was writing in and just the perspective. It was so weird.
I really liked it though, actually. It was so different. And I appreciate that. And like, I appreciate that if she's gonna do it differently, I feel like she did it well. You know, it wasn't like poorly executed. So
I agree. Yeah. No, it was a really fun, quick read. So like I was happy that I read it.
Yeah, me too. Alrighty. Should we dive into our hot takes for the day?
Yes. All right. Well, today, Theoni and I are going to be talking about hot takes regarding everything pop culture. And, to be honest, we really couldn't find anything. So we can't promise that these are really good hot takes.
But hopefully you'll continue listening anyways. And it'll still be entertaining because, we are who we are. Kesha. Anyways, all right. So here's my first hot take.
Okay.
I am now realizing that I took a hot take as an unpopular opinion. Are those the same thing?
You know what? It's our episode. We can do whatever we want.
Well, okay, because I definitely did. Okay, well, oh my God. Okay. All right. So my first one is that I think that I just know you're gonna roll your eyes. So I think that Colin and Penelope are gonna have the best season of Bridgerton, past and future compared.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, I didn't ask you to agree with me.
I didn't ask for your opinion.
Oh my God. No, but let me tell you why. Okay?
Okay.
And I know you're not going to be convinced, but let me just explain myself.
Okay.
Because I feel like so much has been leading up to what has gone on in their story. So I'm rewatching Bridgerton right now, right? The whole first season, Colin had that whole thing with Marina, right? He's already been engaged before. He already thought he was falling in love. He had his travels in Greece. He wrote to Penelope. He treated Penelope like crap, right? Let's see how that plays out. Stop with your face. Okay, so then we have Penelope, right? Her family is constantly horrible to her. Her family is always in this cycle of just poor financial troubles, let alone Penelope being Lady Whistledown. She thought she was going to stop, but then our last season left off with her going down to write another copy of Lady Whistledown, and she had the huge blowout fight with Eloise, which I think is also going to blow up. And not even between just Penelope and Colin, I feel like this season is going to have a lot of buildup for other characters that's going to make it exciting too, right? Like, I think we're going to get a lot of buildup about Eloise. I think we're going to get a lot of buildup about Benedict. And we're also going to get a glimpse into Anthony and Kate. And so I think it's just going to be a lot of things that we love and a lot of buildup. So that's why I think it's going to be the best.
Okay, I'll say my piece. So whatever you just described with Penelope and Colin, you could say the same thing about Eloise and Benedict, that we have been building them up for seasons upon seasons, that by the time that we get to them, it's going to be so good. The tension is already going to be there, that everyone's going to be dying to know what happens to them and where their paths lead them. The reason why Anthony and Kate are superior, though, is because of their motives. And I think that's what makes it more complicated, not just what their potential and the tensions that they face, but their motives, which is that Kate wanted the best for her sister, and Anthony needed to marry someone who was up to his standard, when in reality, they were the best for each other. And that motive is where that tension comes from, rather than having that tension come from other seasons.
Well, to rebuttal that statement, I have to say, I totally hear what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
I agree. However, you haven't seen Colin and Penelope's season, so we don't know if there's going to be new motivations, right? And I think there will be. I don't think they're just going to let this slide with whatever. And I also know there's going to be a little bit of a love triangle with Penelope, which I love, depending on how it's done.
I agree with you. I just don't agree as far as it's going to be the best season. Because I still think Anthony and Kate will be the best.
Okay, fair. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But that's my hot take. What's your first hot take?
Nice. Okay, so now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it's a hot take. Maybe it's just a fact. Like, I don't know. And now it's dumb, but I'm going to say it because I only have 4. My first hot take is that Tiger King on Netflix was way too freaking overrated and it wasn't even that great.
Interesting. I never saw it.
Really?
No, I never watched it.
Okay. You know, the reason why I say that it was so overrated is because that was the beginning of the pandemic, if you remember. And
Facts.
everyone had nothing to do. So everyone watched Tiger King.
And expectations were so low for any kind of entertainment.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, at that point, I could definitely see all the way back in like April of 2020. Like, yeah, okay, that makes sense why Tiger King, it had the success that it did. But that's because no one was doing anything. We were bored out of our freaking minds. So the pandemic helped with it. That's why it like blew up. But like in reality, it just like wasn't good.
I could see that. And I think that's part of the reason why I never watched it. Like,
yeah,
I saw so many TikToks about it at the time. And I was like, I just feel like sometimes I'm almost hesitant to watch things that are overhyped because I feel like I have such high expectations that I just don't really feel like being let down, you know?
No, that makes sense. That's the same like idea that I get with books. That like it gets too hyped where I'm like, oh, do I want to read it? But yeah.
I know. But if it's overhyped and you like it, there's nothing like being a part of that excitement. You know what I mean?
You mean the love hypothesis?
No, literally. Like, quite honestly, yes.
Okay, that was it. Literally. I told you it sounded like a fact. I thought in my mind, I was like, this is a hot take. And then I was like, it's just a fact.
Okay, on to my next hot take.
Okay.
And this is more of just an opinion that I know you are gonna go, shut up. And then you're probably gonna not have the same opinion as me. So here we go. The best of Emily Henry's books is Beach Read.
I fucking knew it.
I know.
I knew it. I was literally gonna say Beach Read at the same time just for funsies, but I didn't want to ruin your little drum roll.
Why do you say it like so? Oh my god. Okay. So here's the situation, okay? Yeah. Part of it, I will say, part of my inclination towards that book is that it was my first Emily Henry read. Okay. So I am very impartial to it.
Okay.
But number 1, I think the writing is so good. Number 2, I think January and Gus's voices literally leap off the page and they're so good. I think that I fell in love with the characters right away. I think their like steamy scenes are so realistic but so them and so palpable and really good. And as I'm saying this, you could also say these things for her other books, but like I'm gonna keep talking about this one for now. And I also just feel like the plot of it is really unique, and I also feel like their trope is very unique because like it's not like best friends to lovers. It's not like enemies to lovers. I just feel like it's like very unique. And I guess you could say it falls under different tropes, and that's definitely a part of the book. It does the whole I'm going to show you all these tropes trope in a really unique way, I feel like. So I really respect that. So I just really think it's one of her best, even though her others are also top tier and I love them so much. But I think Beach Read is the best.
There are some things that I agree that I think that the sexual tension between January and Gus and just the way that it evolves throughout the book is the best that Emily Henry has written. But there are also some things that I don't agree with. I'm surprised that you think January and Gus's voice is stronger than Poppy and Alex, because I feel like Poppy and Alex are so tangible, especially Poppy's voice. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like she could be my friend. I thought the plot was good. I agree that like the way that it went wasn't where I was expecting, which is what made it like really fun to read. But I think it's like still one of like the lower end books for me for Emily Henry.
Oh my god.
Well, you already knew that.
I know. Wait, how would you rank her books then?
Okay, how do you think I would rank them?
I mean, there's only 3, so I can't be that off.
Yeah.
I think your top is Book Lovers, then People We Meet on Vacation, then Beach Read.
Correct.
Yes! Bitch! Sorry.
But that's... But that's because you know that I would die for Charlie.
I know. Hey, I would die for Alex. I would die for Charlie, and I would die for Gus. Literally. Anyways, yeah, how do you think I would rank mine? Well, you already know my top.
Well, okay, then it has to be Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, because I know how much you love Alex, and then Book Lovers. Or is it flipped?
Well, it's kind of a trick question because I think People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers are tied.
What? Really?
I'm such a bitch. Yes, it's hard to say though because to me those two are so different. So between Book Lovers and Beach Read is top tier for me. Between People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers, the way that People We Meet on Vacation is so different that like and I love a spicy boy, but I am impartial to the really sweet boys, and Alex definitely is a sweet boy. So like maybe that does put People We Meet on Vacation above it. But I don't know. It switches every time I think about it.
Well, I don't compare them like you are just because they're like so different. I think one of the things that makes Book Lovers number 1 is that I could relate to Nora and the characters and the struggles so much more. Like those problems and motives were so tangible that I was like, holy crap, like this is crazy. Even though I will say Book Lovers is the book out of all of Emily Henry's books, that was the book that took me the longest to get into, which I don't even know why. But on the opposite side, People We Meet on Vacation was the easiest book that I could get into of Emily Henry's. But I think that's because of the voice. Which is interesting because
and it's interesting because it's also the longest of her books. So
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, all of her books rocks. But Beach Read is superior. Anyways, what's your next hot take?
I don't even know if it's a hot take, Theoni.
Let's hear it.
Like, it's not even good. I don't know how you're going to feel, but my second one is that Glee is not good.
Have you seen Glee all the way through?
Not all the way through, but I don't have to know that it's not good.
Okay, so here's the situation.
Wait, no, it's my hot take, so I go first.
Fine.
I go first.
Go.
Okay.
I'm taking notes so I can rebut them all. Just kidding.
Okay, 1. It's actually a lot more problematic than good. And I think you can dismiss it as like a mid-2000s, early 2010s, like misogynistic, racist, all of that, like all of those labels, and just dismiss it as the time period. Sure. But also you can't, I don't know who thought it was okay to have those things with a diverse cast, because if you look back in the mid-2000s, I think Glee was a very decently diverse cast, but the fact that they decided to spin it to make it problematic and to have all these differences at the forefront just like sits really, really bad with me. And then another thing is that I will say, I'll give them credit that some of their covers are really good. Like some of the songs and performances that they did are so much better than the original, right? But overall, the storyline, plot, underlying themes, and notions do more harm than the good of the show does, which is like the good covers.
So here are my thoughts.
Okay.
I agree that it is problematic, okay? I would be ridiculous to say it's not problematic. So I'm with you there. I am not dismissing it for the time period. What I will say is I think there are some parts of it that did help people at the time feel seen on television when there weren't other shows showing that. So I'm not saying that they didn't do it correctly, but I am saying that I think it did mean a lot for people at the time. So I think there's some good and some bad to it. As for the plot, I like it because I don't take it seriously. You know, like I enjoy the music. I know it's not supposed to be like some hard-hitting, fantastic TV show, but I still enjoy it because of the music, and I think it's kind of campy and fun. So that's my opinion, but like your explanation of why you don't like it, fair. It's definitely not for everybody.
And I think like totally fine that it can be campy, because I feel like when shows or movie do that, they like lean all the way into it, which is like totally fine, but I just think because of that, it's not good, which I could also say the same thing about freaking Riverdale, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I had to stop watching that show. It was just not not it. But no, that's interesting. I feel like this is the most we've ever disagreed ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wow, this is weird for us.
Listeners, this is very rare because me and Theoni are like almost always on the same page.
Literally, this is nuts. Oh my god.
Okay, what's your next one?
Okay, so this isn't really a hot take. I feel like it's pretty universally accepted, but the diehard fans might come at me, which is nuts because I am kind of a diehard fan, but I think Grey's Anatomy should have ended like 4 or 5 seasons ago, which is sad to say because I love the show, but the more it goes on, the longer I don't care, and going to rewatch it is not as enjoyable for me because I know where it's going to end, and it just gets less enjoyable as it goes on.
Yep.
And so the fact that they're continuing it is almost ruining the show for me. And I think I talked about this on the episode where we ranked our TV shows a little bit, but I just think it needed to end, and it should end. And it needs to be done after this like new season, because I just heard too that I think Ellen Pompeo isn't going to be on it as much.
Yep.
And I feel like part of that is the writers testing if they can keep Grey's Anatomy going without the Grey, you know, which I think is just like when Meredith leaves the show, you need to be done with the show. Like this show just needs to be done. Like it's not interesting anymore. And this might make me sound horrible, but I like when shows use their voice to make some sort of commentary, right? I can respect that, you know? But I feel like Grey's Anatomy is turning into like a news story about what's going on, and like not that you shouldn't bring those things up, but like I'm also watching TV to get away from some of that. So I feel like there's a time and place and a way to do it, but it's like distracting from the show, I feel like.
No, I agree. I don't watch Grey's. I mean, I've watched a couple of seasons and I've seen like a little snippets here and there. So like I've seen some stuff, but I agree that sometimes shows just need to freaking die. The same thing with The Walking Dead. That has been going on for way too long, okay? And then another thing too, where Ellen is taking a step back for the next season. It's like, okay, well, if she's going to do that, then just end the freaking show. Same thing with Vampire Diaries when Nina Dobrev left and they continued. I was like, what? What do you mean you're going to continue the Vampire Diaries without the main character? Like, I just don't understand.
You can almost, I love the last 2 seasons of The Office, but you could also argue a similar thing for when Michael left in season 7.
Yes.
You know, like it didn't, I still like the last 2 seasons, but like it didn't need to continue. You know?
I think I've told you this before. I don't watch the the 2 seasons, the last 2 seasons of The Office, and I just end with 6, and that's the end of the show for me. Like it's like crazy that I don't even acknowledge it.
Fair.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of TV shows do that, and probably for a money grab. But I much prefer when shows know when the right stopping place is. I feel like The Good Place knew that, and Jane the Virgin knew that. Those 2 shows did it perfectly. If they had continued, I wouldn't have liked them so much. But they had the perfect arc, you know?
Yeah, as well as Breaking Bad.
I never watched it, but I believe
me neither, but that's only 4 seasons, and in the height of Breaking Bad, it was so successful that people were questioning why it was ending. But then the showrunner was like, well, that's the end of the story, and I'm like, great answer.
I respect that so much. All right, next one.
I don't know what your opinion about this is, but we'll see. My next hot take, not really pop culture, but more so us, is that Throne of Glass is far superior than ACOTAR.
Wow.
I'll let you process, okay? And then I'm going to dive into my points, okay? 1, the plot is 5 times better and a lot more detailed. You can argue that Throne of Glass had like 7 books, right? But ACOTAR is going to have 6 books now, or what? I don't know how many it is, whatever. And I feel like you could tell that Sarah J. Maas was planning everything from the start of the very first book all the way through to Kingdom of Ash. Like, you could see all of that come together. And I just feel like it's so much more cohesive for the plot. Second thing, the relationships are like 5 times better, which goes into my third point, is because the characters are more tangible. Even though it's in third person and ACOTAR is in first, well, Feyre's first 3 books are in first person and Aelin is all in third. But you could argue that it's still better because you get to see them change so much. And again, it goes back to my first point that the plot is more in depth. And that's why it's better.
I might have an aneurysm. I don't even know what to think, because I was thinking about this the other day. There's this one filter going around on TikTok with like Sarah J. Maas books, and people are ranking them without like seeing the other books before they rank them, you know? And I fully cannot rank her books. Like, thinking about, like you said, far superior, right?
Yeah.
I respect your points a lot. I physically cannot choose one series over the other. Like, I just cannot. And I know that's like a cop-out answer, but I just love them so much for different ways. And they also just mean so much to me in different ways. And I love all the relationships differently. And they're both really good. And so how am I supposed to choose one over the other? You know, like they're different things. So I feel like I can't say that I like one over the other because they're so different. Like, they're not supposed to be the same, you know? I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm so deep in thought right now. Why would you bring up Sarah J. Maas? Because now I'm thinking about House of Sky and Bread, the last freaking line that's been looping through my... Oh my God. Okay, sorry. What, any response?
I was just gonna say that I agree in a sense where all of her books are like very, very close for me, but it's like weird because it's like ACOTAR. I am more emotionally invested in ACOTAR, but I think that's because it's in first person, and so we get Feyre's like very like intricate thoughts, and also like the way that she writes Rhys. Even though I love Rowan as much as I do, I think the way that she writes Rhys is one of the best that she's ever written a male character. But I think looking at it as a whole, Throne of Glass is stronger. Like, character, plot-wise, setting-wise, relationship-wise, like all of that is just a little stronger for me, and that's why it's like at the top.
Okay, like I mean, I can't, like I mean, fair. I literally have nothing else to say because that's more than fair. Like, it just, Oh my God. I'm literally going to be awake tonight thinking about everything that you just said. Y'all, Selena, when she talks about her books, like even when we're texting about like Crescent City and stuff, she will say these points that I'm like, I didn't even think that deep about it, but then you're never able to forget it. And that's the problem.
Yeah, it literally just lives rent-free in my head. Like, that's all of my headspace is dedicated towards these freaking fictional characters and worlds.
Why isn't it real?
I know.
Anyways. But wow, that was a good one. That was a good hot take.
Thank you.
Okay, so my fourth hot take is that I think the most underrated High School Musical song of all time is from High School Musical 3, and it is Scream. The one that Zac Efron sings. Everyone says, bet on it this. Get your head in the game this. Like whatever. Like, Scream. The visceral reaction I had in the movie theater watching that for the first time with Zac Efron looking fine as heck, with the spinning room that he slides around in. The beat of it. Like, I would listen to that today and be like, that's a good song. Like, if that came out on the radio, I would be like, yes, I like that a lot. I just think it's really well done. It showcases his voice. It's so perfect for the moment it was going for, because in musicals, right, songs are written for moments. That song was perfectly written for that moment. And I just think it's also very nostalgic for me, because when I was younger, me and my sister and our these three girls that were like our closest friends growing up lived next door. We made up a dance to this song, and it slapped. It had a kick line. It had like all these like whatever, and it never got finished. My sister is still salty about it to this day that we never finished that dance. But it's such a deep memory in my head, you know? But anyways.
I was gonna disagree with you, but then you had the point of like, it's a moment, and like, you know, like songs are moments, really, really big for these characters. And I was like, I'm on that train now. I agree. Yes. Like, I was gonna argue with you. Yeah.
You were like, I'm ready.
Yeah. And I was like, never mind.
But were you thinking of any other songs that like you feel like are really underrated?
Yes, but not in the same way that Scream is underrated. I would
what are they? I'm curious.
I would say, well, personally, like one of my favorites is in High School Musical 2. I don't remember the title of it, but it's when they play baseball.
I Don't Dance. Oh my gosh, that song is so good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's such a bop, because everyone's like, is. Wait, what's the Sharpay one in High School Musical?
Fabulous.
2? Everyone's like, Fabulous is so great, or the one that they sing in the kitchen. But I'm like, no, it's the baseball field. That's where it's at.
No, that song is so good.
Yes.
And also, yes to the writers giving Ryan and Chad their time to shine.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, I love it. But yeah, that's that hot take. What's your next one?
So, this is my last one, and I think you might kill me for it, but let's see.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I thought the Sarah J. Maas one was...
Okay, my last hot take is that Endgame was not a good movie compared to the other Marvel films. That's because you're telling me that after Infinity War, that we're going to switch gears and do time travel? What are you talking about? It just took a hard left turn, okay? Okay? No one... Okay, I understand, like, the whole, like, quantum realm and da-da-da-da, but, like, you're telling me in the quantum realm you can, like, time travel? Like, that doesn't... What? Like, where did that even freaking come from? Like, I think that's also in part two that, like, maybe they didn't set it up well, where it's like, okay, well, where did this come from? And then another thing that I'm salty about is Captain America's ending. At the very, very end, spoilers alert if you haven't watched it yet, but he basically goes back in time to go and, like, live his life with frickin' Peggy. But I'm like, he would never do that. He would never frickin' do that. Okay.
I actually agree with a lot of what you said. So I will say that. But the one argument that I will say for Endgame is I don't know that I've ever gotten all of the feelings in the theater as I did with Endgame. Like during that final battle, you know, and like when Tony dies, and like with the crowd freaking out and like all of these different things, like there's just nothing like experiencing that.
But
you know what I mean?
I would argue that you have that in Infinity War when you have Tony with Spider-Man meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, wow, who would have freaking known? As well with Doctor Strange, and then Wakanda with Thor. Like, what? You get that in Infinity War.
No, I'm not saying that I disagree. I'm just saying that for me, the feeling I got in the theater, because it felt like the closing to so many things, right?
Okay.
So it's totally different in that way. But I will say Infinity War is definitely like overall the superior film.
Yes.
If you're just comparing those two. Like Endgame as a film with like other things, I feel like it's in line with other ones. But because of the fact that it like closed a saga for me, and like there's so much build up to it, like literally more than 10 years worth of stuff building up for it, like the feeling it gives me is like different than other ones. But like anyways, but I totally hear what you're saying.
No, and that makes sense because obviously Endgame was the end of phase 3, and you know, it was the end of the huge arc from 1 to 3 that started all the way back in, I don't know, like 2009? I don't know, whenever the first Iron Man came out. But I definitely agree. But then taking that all away and just like looking at Endgame, it's definitely one of the lower movies.
Wow. I mean, I definitely wouldn't say it's on the lower end of the movies, but like I don't think it's like in my top 5 ever.
Okay, I agree. It's not as low as Doctor Strange in the Madness of the Multiverse or whatever.
Nothing is as bad as that freaking movie.
But
except maybe Thor 2, but
yeah. Oh, you're right. But I agree. Endgame does not make my top 5. Like there are just like better ones.
Okay. But that did hurt it a little. But like I hear you.
Yeah.
I like how we know each other well enough to know when something's about to hit a little bit of a nerve or like an opinion. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you're going to think this is edgy. Let's see how this goes.
Exactly.
And selfishly, I also like to see your reaction when I say something edgy. Like I knew when I said Colin and Penelope, you were going to be like, no.
Yeah, exactly. Like immediately no. No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then this one isn't even pop culture. I don't know why it's on my list. Like, Selena, when I tell you, this makes no sense to be on the list. I'm not joking.
Okay, I'm ready.
Cane's and Arby's are the best fast food chains.
It is not pop culture.
I know. I don't know why it's on my list. I should have just stuck with 4. But anyways, here we are.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'll explain.
Yeah,
so
I was like, I
thing.
need to hear the points.
I mean, Cane's is just Cane's, and it's fantastic and delicious, and no one makes chicken like Cane's. I don't give a crap about Chick-fil-A. I don't give a crap about KFC. Absolutely the heck not. That's not even in the realm.
Yeah.
But no, Cane's is just amazing. And then Arby's, the roast beef sandwich, nothing compares to that with fast food. Like I literally love the roast beef sandwiches and the curly fries. And Arby's also has really good like malts and milkshakes. And when I was younger, my papu used to bring me like malts whenever I was sick or like whatever. And so like why am I nostalgic about fast food? I'm literally such a freaking sap. But like anyways, I just think they're superior.
So I agree with Cane's, and I will die on a hill for that. It's so good. Arby's, though, I feel like it's not the best. I'm surprised you didn't say McDonald's, because I know you go to McDonald's. Like, that's like your go-to. So I'm surprised that you would say Arby's, but I agree. Their roast beef sandwich, so good. But every time I've gotten their fries, they're like really soggy. So it's just like
rude.
Yeah, so I haven't had a really good experience with their fries, but I agree their roast beef sandwiches are so good.
And here's the thing. McDonald's is definitely up there, right?
Yeah.
But here's the situation. in Boston, there's like no Arby's to be found. And if there are, they're so far away. So I think now it's been so long without a roast beef sandwich that to me, it just sounds extra good to me right now.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. That's interesting. I guess I didn't realize there were no Arby's in Boston the last time I visited.
It's so scarce.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, that's my last hot take. That has nothing to do with pop culture, but there you go.
Thank you. It was a good like cherry on top with all of our stuff.
Literally. Do you want to tell the listeners about our topic for next week?
Yes. Our next episode, Theoni and I will be talking about the movie Not Okay, which is streaming on Hulu. And I think it was released like July 30th or something. So it's pretty recent, but it has Zoe Deutsch and the one and only Dylan O'Brien. And I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited too because I've heard really good things. I've seen little clips here and there on TikTok and they've all seemed so funny.
Yeah.
And I also love both of those actors. So I'm really excited.
Yes, me too. And oh my God, I just like love Zoe. And I think she looks so good in the film. Like her outfits and her hair too look so good. And then Dylan looks so fine. He looks so fine.
So fine. Woof the Martha. But yes, so tune in next week to listen to that. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye.